Hey there guys, we're taking a look at Injustice Gods Among Us running on the AMD Ryzen 5 5500U. Now the game is currently running at 1080p with the lowest in-game graphics settings. Now at the stock 15W TDP, it is in general pretty rough experience. The averages aren't necessarily too bad though. In a fighting game, dropping down even below 60 can be pretty rough, but it's those 1% lows and those frame times that are the real indicator on how rough the experience overall is going to be here. There is a noticeable just stutter and just heaviness to everything because of the fact that the frame times are really just all over the place. And in general, the experience is going to be extremely rough. I really feel like most people are going to struggle to actually find an enjoyable experience out of this. It really just is really rough to try to play. With that said though, we can try to adjust things here. Now we can always drop the resolution or we can start to turn up the TDP. So let's see what raising the TDP here to 25 watts using the AMD APU tuning utility, which is linked down below in the description. If we switch over to the balance preset, which sets a target TDP of 25 watts, we can see what it actually does to the performance. And as you can see here, we do get a nice boost to our 1% lows, where they're at least not at a territory that was absolutely awful. And you'll see that the frame times do level out quite a bit, but there are still these noticeable spikes throughout the whole experience. And you'll see that our 1% lows are dropping below 30. So in general, it's still a pretty rough experience, and I feel like most people are still going to struggle to actually find an enjoyable experience out of this unless you're really just playing this for the single player campaign. I think if you're just playing the campaign and you're not going to be playing it at a high difficulty, you're mostly just playing it for the story, you can get away with playing like this. 100% you can do that. But if you actually want to have a full genuine fighting game experience out of this, you're going to want to get improved 1% lows, and you want those frame times to be as level as possible. You'll see here that raising the TDP to 30 watts doesn't really do much to improve the overall experience. Our averages are pretty much staying at 60 with 1% lows that are still dropping below 30. So overall, a very inconsistent experience, and it's unfortunate to see because even with a TDP of what is supposed to be 30 watts, we're not really using that much more power right now. You'll see that our power usage is almost identical to where it was at the 25-watt TDP. So in general, this is going to be a rough experience. It seems 1080p is just out of the question here, and the 30-watt TDP is really not going to be doing much. It makes sense because of the fact that with a 60 FPS cap, we really won't be utilizing all that extra power. That said though, dropping down to 900p, I was hoping would actually give us a overall better experience here, but it really seems like the game in general just has this noticeable stutter problem that is not resolved at all by dropping the resolution. So at least at the stock 15-watt TDP, 900p is still out of the question. It's going to be a very rough experience, and in general, I would avoid this. This feels exactly like what 15 watts did at the full 1080p resolution. So in general, it's just not going to be great. If we raise the TDP though to 20 watts, or rather 25 watts, this time around, we're still not seeing any major gains in the 1% lows. There just seems to be this noticeable consistent stutter throughout the entirety of the experience that is just not being resolved here. And I'm starting to feel like at this point, there is no fixing it. This might just be inherently a problem that the game has, whether it's on the specific chip or the engine itself is just having issues in general. If this is just a commonplace thing with the game itself, I'm not 100% sure, but it is a noticeable thing, and it overall makes the experience of playing this really, really rough. I was genuinely surprised to see it run this badly on here. Even with a full 30 watts of power running through the system, the 1% lows are still going to end up struggling. You're still going to end up in the same 30 FPS for the 1% lows, and in general, the frame times are just going to be so rough, and in general, the game just does not feel smooth to play. It's really not that great of an experience. For fighting games, you really don't want them to be performing like this. So if you're playing this for the campaign and you just want the story, go right ahead. It's going to be at least playable enough for that. But if you're actually going to be playing this because you like fighting games and that's what you're into, this really is not going to get you an enjoyable enough experience. But anyways, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.